All right, y'all, this is gonna be the unboxing video. I just got a box and I think it's my book. So we're gonna find out. Sorry, the light is kind of weird. It's just the time of day, that late afternoon, direct Florida sun. So some of you guys might have already seen me with a copy of the book. I ordered one just at retail price so I could get it overnight because we do have Prime. But that was just one copy at retail price. So I ordered a whole box of them so I'd have them to resell. So let's see if this is them. If so, that's like what makes it real, right? Dun, dun, dun. It's the book! Oh my gosh, y'all, I just got chills. Ta-da! For those of you who did not know me when I was 10 years old, let me see if I can change the angle. This is so like sensitive. Sorry. My little tripod's kind of wonky. I'm gonna take the camera out. When I was about 10 years old, two things happened. Number one, I started getting a lot of positive feedback from one of my teachers about being a good writer. Mrs. Brown. For those of you that are from Warren High School, you might remember Mrs. Brown, 5th grade English teacher. And I was getting a lot of positive feedback about being a good writer, which, you know, I think I am. It could have been a natural talent, but also my mom was an English major. Like I was a super nerd. We did a lot of reading. So some of it, you know, nature versus nurture, but I started getting a lot of good feedback on it. The other thing that happened is, and this is, you know, my perception based on my memories, but I started experiencing a lot of rejection. Misty Bronner decided she didn't like me and nobody was allowed to be friends with me. Now, when I say nobody, it was really just the friends that I had before Misty decided they couldn't be friends with me. And I had plenty of friends, right? Like looking back, but at the time, right, the way it feels to you as a kid and the way it happens are two very different things. So this was like a very yucky, vulnerable time. And it was funny because she even moved away. And though she had moved away, those friends that from my perspective had rejected me, like I was still rejected. So it started to feel like very much like there was something wrong with me. And the only redeeming feature, again, as a child, my perception was, well, at least I can write. So then as I got older, got into high school age, and I was winning like all kinds of contests and prizes and going to special camps and things. I was getting a lot of recognition for being a good writer, but also feeling very rejected. And some of it may be like inside my own head. I've recently been diagnosed with ADHD, and RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria, comes with that. I haven't officially been diagnosed with that, but I mean, come on. Probably that's what's going on. Right, so I'm getting all this really positive feedback for being a writer, but experiencing all this rejection and feeling like there's something wrong with me, I'm not good enough, nobody likes me, da-da-da-da-da. So all this is going on at the same time. So then as I get older, I get into high school, I'm starting to get the message that being a writer is not realistic. You can't make a living as a writer. You have to get a job. That's the only way to make a living. But journalism is a job, and you can still do writing. So I start pursuing journalism. I wrote for free for years for the local paper, which shout out to them for allowing a kid to do that. That was really cool. But as I got older, I got a lot of what was probably very sage advice. If you look at what has happened to journalism since then, that being a journalist, it's not a good way to make a living. You're not going to make any money. It's really hard. So the message I kept getting over and over and over was like, basically everybody hates you. There's only one redeeming feature. It's this special gift you have of being a writer, and nobody's going to pay you to do that. So and this was, of course, not the only thing that was going on, but it messed with my head a lot. So I basically had this identity as a writer, but knew I wouldn't be able to make a living doing it as I went off to college. Then I go to college. I got a great education, reading all the great white guy authors of the English language, Shakespeare, Milton, all of these guys. And they were so much better than me, which, of course they were. But it really destroyed my confidence. So I got out of college, and it's like, okay, the one redeeming feature is that I can write, except I'm really not that good compared to Shakespeare. I don't just naturally write in iambic pentameter, and my shit's not good enough to be studied by English students of the future. So just go get a job. Just go get a job and be normal. And that was horrible. That did not go well. So it's been kind of a rocky road ever since. And we've had a lot of successes in business, but it's felt like those successes were really kind of me behind the scenes. My husband was the superstar. And so finally writing this book, this was kind of this FU of you know what? Maybe I just am totally jinxed and I have no redeeming value, and what I do in the world, my skill set isn't valued, blah, 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 but F it. I don't care. I've wanted to write a book since I was 10 years old. I'm just gonna effing write a book. And this thing, it's a little book, but I wrote it lickety-split really quick, uploaded it, published it before I could change my mind. And I will tell you, there's a lot more where this came from. But it just feels like I'm turning 50 in a couple of weeks, and it just feels like this kind of coming full circle self-acceptance moment. I've done so much work, so much personal development. There's clearly still more to be done because this is still vulnerable and raw. But the fact that, here's a whole, let me show you guys. There's a whole box of it's like my little babies, right? There's this whole box of books that say, you're good enough. And I've made $18 selling the books. Hopefully more will come over the years. This is going to be a passive stream of income. Hopefully, as I'm running ads for other things, I'm doing courses, I'm out living my life, I'll meet new people. Hopefully that will build over time. I would love to see that become a really good source of income, and just be kind of an FU to all those people who told me at 10 that I couldn't make a living from books. But even if I never do, I think the moral of the story is, if there's something that's been on your heart to do since you were 10 years old and you can do it, even if it makes no sense, just go do it, right? Me saying, even if nobody buys this book, even if nobody who buys it likes it, that I am worthy of being published. And there's a voice in my brain that's it's self-published. Does it really count? Yeah, it really counts. For that 10-year-old who lived so much escaping through books, it counts. So I don't usually do vulnerable because but if y'all are watching this, I hope you hear my heart and just know this is very personal to me. And if there's something personal like this to you and you can still do it, right? Go and do it. Just go for it. And I hope that you get that same, satisfaction from doing it that I have. And also, buy my book. If you love me, buy my book. If you don't love me, but you think the book might be helpful, buy the book, more importantly, right? How to Get What You Most Desire, the ACE methodology. And this really comes out of all of the personal development work that I've done, all the reading, all the self-study. How does this life work? How does the universe work? How do we get what we want? And then spoiler alert, at the very end, it's kind of how do we make peace with where we are, right? So, all right, the dog's going nuts. I should probably let y'all go, but thank you, thank you, thank you.